Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about something urgent, yet often overlooked. The silent signs our bodies give us, the ones many seniors brush aside until it's too late. Dr. William Lee, a leading physician in longevity research, says, "Our body is always speaking to us, but we must learn to listen before it's shouting." And here's the truth. Most seniors don't die because of a single bad day. They pass away because of years of unheeded warning signs. Tiny clues that something inside was changing. Let us begin with something simple, yet profound. A tree does not fall in the forest without first giving signs. Leaves turn yellow before the branch weakens. Bark begins to crack before the trunk leans. In the same way, our bodies speak long before they collapse. But the trouble is not that the signs are missing. The trouble is that we often do not look for them, or worse, we see them and call them normal. Silent symptoms are not accidents. They are the body's quiet language, a language it has been speaking since the day we were born. In our youth we can ignore them and still recover. At 50, 60, 70, that luxury fades. The body now demands respect for its warnings. When you rise from a chair and feel a slight hesitation in your legs, when you find yourself short of breath after climbing a few stairs, when digestion feels just a little heavier than before, these are not random inconveniences. They are notes in a song your body is playing for you, and if you don't listen now, the next verse might be far harder to bear. There was once an old craftsman in a small village. He had spent his life carving wood. One day, his apprentice noticed the tools had grown dull and asked, "Master, why not sharpen them?" The craftsman replied, "They still cut well enough." A year later, the man's hands had grown weak, the tools almost useless. The work slowed, the joy faded, and the craft was lost. The apprentice realized too late. It was never the tools alone that grew dull. It was the master who forgot to keep them sharp. Our bodies are the same. We lose not because of age itself, but because we ignore the subtle decline and do nothing to maintain the edge. Often, the first signs of disease are whispers. A skin mole changing its shade, a tingle in the fingertips, a change in sleep patterns, small changes that could lead to big consequences. But we tend to wait until the voice is loud. And when it becomes loud, it often comes with pain, medical bills, and regret. The wise path is to train the mind to notice the small before it becomes the big. Some will say, "I do not want to live in fear," watching every little change. But awareness is not fear. Awareness is the lamp you carry in the dark forest. It does not create the danger. It simply lets you see the path and avoid the cliff. When you observe yourself with care, you are not worrying about sickness. You are simply practicing the art of staying alive. We live in a culture that values big achievements. Running a marathon, climbing a mountain, lifting heavy weights. Yet the greatest achievement in our later years may be the simplest one: noticing when we can no longer walk as quickly as before, and then acting to restore it. Just as you would repair a leaking roof before the rain comes, you must tend to the body before the storm arrives. Now, let us turn to the truth that comes after 50. The human body is built with remarkable repair systems. Your skin heals after a cut. Your bones mend after a fracture. Your immune system fights invaders every day without you even knowing. But with time, these repair systems slow down, not because they want to fail you, but because they have been working without rest for decades. A car that has driven for 50 years can still run beautifully, but it requires more care, more regular servicing, and more attention to detail than when it was new. The slowing of these repair systems means one thing: problems that could once be fixed silently and quickly now take longer to heal. That is why what seems like a small issue at 70 can become a major illness if ignored. The body still works to fix it, but at a slower pace, with fewer reserves. If you add neglect to that equation, the outcome becomes predictable. There is a story of a farmer who kept 2 wells on his land. One was deep and fresh, the other shallow and prone to drying up. For years, he drew from both without problem. But as the seasons passed, the shallow well began to run dry faster. Still, he kept using it as if it were endless. One summer, it gave nothing at all, and by then, the deeper well could not supply all his needs. If he had tended to the shallow well earlier, cleaning it, deepening it, protecting it, it would have served him for many more years. Our repair systems are like those wells. The deeper reserves are still there, but the smaller ones must be cared for if we want the whole system to last. When your body's repairs slow down, you cannot afford to be careless. That ache in your knee might not be just from walking. That sudden loss of appetite might not be just the weather. That feeling of lightheadedness after standing might not be just age. They might be the shallow well running low, calling for your attention before the deeper well is strained. One of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves after 50 is, "It's just old age." That sentence has kept countless people from seeking help when it was still possible to reverse their condition. Age is not the cause of every decline. In many cases, it is the lack of action, the delay in response, that turns a manageable issue into a fatal one. Think of the body as a village with many small bridges connecting its paths. In youth, if one bridge begins to crack, the repair team arrives immediately. After 50, the repair team moves slower, and the cracks grow faster. But if you, the mayor of this village, spot the damage early and send reinforcements, the bridge will stand. If you wait until the bridge collapses, rebuilding becomes far more difficult. The lesson here is not to live in a constant state of medical worry, but to practice mindful observation. In the same way a gardener walks through the garden every morning, noticing the leaves, the soil, the signs of insects, you must walk through the garden of your own body daily. This is not an obsession, it is a form of gratitude. To check your balance, your breathing, your strength is to say, "This body has served me for decades. I will now serve it in return." And perhaps the most important truth is this: listening to your body is an act of courage. It takes courage to notice weakness and still choose to strengthen it. It takes courage to admit that you need help, or that you must change your habits, or that you must let go of what no longer serves your health. Courage is not just facing the illness. It is facing the silence before the illness arrives, and choosing to act. The whispers are there. The slowing repair systems are there. The choice is also there, and the choice belongs to you. Early detection is not a matter of luck, it is a matter of awareness. When something changes inside the body, it does not happen in a single night. A disease does not appear like lightning in a clear sky. It grows slowly, like a shadow lengthening as the sun moves across the day. And just like that shadow, the earlier you see it, the easier it is to avoid stepping into it. There was once a fisherman who noticed a small tear in his net. It was barely the size of his finger. His friends told him to fix it right away, but he was tired and said, "It can wait until tomorrow." The next morning, the tear had grown, and by the time he set out to sea, the first fish he caught slipped right through. By the end of the week, the net was useless. The man had the skill to repair it, but he lacked the discipline to do it when the problem was still small. Our health is that net. Early detection is simply the art of repairing the small tear before the whole net is lost. After 50, the body becomes more transparent in its communication, yet many choose to ignore its honesty. Small changes in weight, appetite, memory, or mood are messages. These changes are not enemies, they are warnings, and warnings are gifts. They are invitations to act before it becomes too late. A wise elder once said, "You cannot stop the wind from blowing, but you can close the window before the storm enters." Early detection is closing that window in time. But early detection demands humility. It requires admitting that you are not invincible. It requires you to let go of the thought that, "I will be fine," without knowing for certain Pride is the enemy of early action. How many lives have been shortened because someone said, "It's nothing. I'll see a doctor next month." In that single sentence, months of potential healing can be lost. The other barrier to early detection is fear. People avoid tests or check-ups because they are afraid of what they might find. But avoiding the truth does not change it. If there is a fire in your house, closing your eyes does not put it out. Early detection is the willingness to look directly at the truth and say, "If something is wrong, I want to know now, while I can still do something about it." When a tree grows sick, the experienced gardener does not wait for it to wither completely. He checks the roots, waters it differently, prunes what is necessary, and protects it from pests. If he acts early, the tree flourishes again. The gardener's skill is not only in knowing what to do, but in knowing when to begin. The same is true with our bodies. Early action is far more powerful than late reaction. And then there is the quiet truth about the final years of life. We are not just trying to survive, we are trying to live well. Which brings us to the habits that keep us not only alive but strong. Small daily choices are not small at all. They are bricks in the foundation of your health. Remove a few, and the structure weakens. Add a few, and the structure grows solid. A man once planted a bamboo grove. For the first 5 years, there was almost no visible growth above the soil. His neighbors laughed and said he was wasting his time. But underground, the roots were spreading wide and deep. In the 6th year, the bamboo shot up, growing more than 30 feet in a single season. Health habits are like that. You may not see the result in a week, or even in a year, but quietly they are building the roots of strength that will support you in later life. Nutrition, movement, hydration, rest, and regular check-ups. These are not dramatic solutions, but they are the pillars that hold up every other part of life. The food you eat each day is not just fuel, it is instruction for your body. Every meal tells your cells how to behave, how to repair, how to resist disease. The water you drink is not just to quench thirst, it is the river that carries nutrients and removes waste. Movement is not only about exercise, it is about reminding your muscles and bones that they still have work to do, that they are still alive. The elders who live the longest often share a secret. They did not rely on occasional bursts of discipline. They relied on consistency. A short walk every morning, even in winter. A plate of fresh vegetables with every meal. A habit of stretching before bed. These are not heroic acts, but over decades, they become heroic results. When you choose to maintain these habits, you are not just avoiding sickness, you are protecting your independence. The ability to climb your own stairs, cook your own meals, walk to the market. These are freedoms that many lose not because of age itself, but because they let small habits slip away. Every day you move, eat well, rest enough, and monitor your health, you are buying more days of freedom in the future. One more truth must be spoken here. The mind and body are not separate in this work. A restless mind can tire the body. A peaceful mind can heal it. Daily habits that nourish the mind, reading, meditating, connecting with loved ones, are as vital as food and exercise. When the mind feels purpose, the body often follows with energy. There is an old saying, "The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now." If you have neglected these habits in the past, do not look back with regret. Begin today. Begin small. Add one healthy choice each week. Let it grow roots before adding another. In the end, early detection and daily habits are two hands of the same body. One hand senses the danger early, the other hand builds the strength to meet it. Together, they create a life where health is not left to chance, where you do not simply drift into decline, but actively guide yourself toward vitality. It is not about chasing youth. It is about honoring the years you have with the strength and awareness they deserve. It is about making sure that when you look back, you can say, "I listened, I acted, and I lived fully." Not because I was lucky, but because I was present enough to care.